Hi everyone, so today I'm with Claire and Sam from Planning Potential. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Thank
Hi.
you for joining me today.
Okay.
So I've had a couple of questions from some of my landlords and I thought I might just put them to you today, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if one of my landlords has some vacant office space and wants to turn it into apartments, what advice would you give them?
Well, in some circumstances, you don't need planning permission to change use, for example, between an office and into a residential apartment. However, there are certain restrictions, such as listed buildings, conservation areas, where you might need planning permission. So in those circumstances, we would say to come to us, we can tell you what's what, guide you through the process, and we can help you submit your planning application. Harrogate Council, for example, most of the town centre is conservation area, so in those circumstances you would need to get planning permission.
Yeah, we've got some beautiful listed buildings, haven't we?
Yeah.
So question number 2 then, some of my landlords want to extend some properties they've bought to turn into a buy-to-let, or they want to extend their own houses. So at what point do they need planning application as opposed to they're just allowed to do it, permitted development?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I mean, as Claire was saying, under permitted development, there are options available to your landlords. You can do single storey, double storey extension, conversion of roof space, and sometimes garages.
Yeah.
However, in Harrogate specifically, those restrictions, those provisions, don't apply to flats and masonettes. And as Claire was saying, in certain areas such as conservation area and listed buildings, again, those provisions are removed. There's also restrictions on the amount of extra space you can create through an extension or a conversion, and that's something that people need to be mindful of, but at the same time something that we could advise on. Again, as Claire was saying, if any of your landlords had any specific questions or wanted us to look at any proposals, we would happily do that. If it was a need, if it was needed an application, typically that would take 8 weeks to determine, so that's something for them to bear in mind. We work with some, really good, reputable local architects who could assist them with the design and come up really with solutions for them. And again, that'd be something we'd happily help with.
Yeah, I know one of my landlords in particular has got a garage in the garden. They're thinking about maybe converting that into apartments or things. So that's something that they might be interested in. Thank you for answering those questions for me. But while you're here, what other things do you do here then?
Well, we take on a number of projects, different scales, from large-scale commercial projects to the type of projects that we've been discussing today. So we deal with residential, leisure, retail. So we do look at all sorts of things.
So if one of my landlords has got a commercial and residential portfolio and wants to do something with it, it'd be quite good for them to get in touch.
Yes, that'd be great.
Lovely. Thank you so much. It's been
Okay.
really helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.